And there we go. Game number 2 is up, and we are ready to roll. If you guys listen carefully, you usually hear that tick-tock, tick-tock in the background before we go into game number 2. So yeah, game number 2 is best of 3, I believe, series. Adele and Bly once again spawning on, well, versus each other here. We do see Adele here spawning as the orange Protoss in the 3 o'clock position. Meanwhile, in the 9, you got Acer's Bly spawning as the pink Zerg. Of course, I am Martin, aka Mumbles, and I'm joined here by the one, the only, the amazing Evil Guy 13.
Hello!
You gotta live up to that hype, man. That's hard. I love people putting people on the spot because they're like, oh god, how do I follow that up?
You would. I was about to say you'd be perfect on my show, but you've already been on it. So.
I know, this is my payback, bitch.
Oh god, I didn't think this through at all. Alright, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, as Martine has perfectly said, this is the second game in this best of 3 series. Bly is currently 1-0 up. Can Adele bring it back to move on to the next round, where he will play the winner of Goody versus Sage?
It's going to be excellent, excellent tournament, I can already tell. There's so many players that I always love to watch in Wings of Liberty, and I'm so excited to see what they can actually dish out in HotS form. Like I said in the last game as well, I'm not that familiar with HotS form quite yet. The only HotS form I've really watched is Mara's stream. I've watched, well, okay, I'll be honest, I've watched it several times for several hours, so it's not like I'm completely blind here. But I gotta say, you know, there's a lot of stuff I haven't really seen, like this one-base gate gas play that we're seeing from Adele right now. What am I supposed to make from this, Evil Guy?
It is fairly common on this map, only not against Zerg, usually against Terran, because there is an in-base expansion on this map. It makes it much easier to defend yourself and get up that expansion fairly easily. So I think that Adele may be going for some sort of 2-base push again, because it is so hard to take a third on this map, due to one of your thirds having destructible rocks and the other one having collapsible rocks and having a ramp down to it. So it's really easy for your opponent to kill it off and harass it.
Yep, definitely. The Rock Tower. How intimidating does that not sound, actually? Nice try, Blizzard. I'm not sold quite yet. Try harder. We've got Pull here, indeed, completed. We got the hatch down for Bly. So for Bly, it's business as usual. This is the ZVP that we've seen about 1,000 times over.
Yeah, pretty much. This is very, very normal out of Bly at the moment. Whereas Adele, his building positioning is a bit strange, but it definitely looks like it's going to be some sort of 2-base play. He will expand fairly soon after his Mothership core.
Yep, of course he is rushing that Mothership core. He's not yet investing into that. Oh, there we go. I was about to say, he's kind of forgetting his Warp Gate tech, and then instantly he gets his Warp Gate tech. So much for that, making me look dumb.
Interesting fact, actually, about Adelscott. Because Heart of the Swarm has the auto-mine feature, where basically your units will head off to mine the second the game starts, Adelscott has turned that off. Oh. So he sets his unit to mine personally. He doesn't let him auto-mine because he thinks that it messes up the split.
Yeah, it's a little faster to do, like to start with a manual split, but really it makes so little difference that I would just leave it on. But hey, that's me. So, who knows?
It's much easier because the reason they added it into the game is to compensate for start of game lag, etc. Exactly. Adelscott has decided to go against that, and I guess that's the way he does it. Couple Lings trying to harass the Nexus, but the Mothership core will kill off these Lings. There is no escape, except for that one Ling. That will escape. But
Mothership core is so slow, man.
It is, but it's good enough. These Lings won't do that much damage. They will run around. They might actually get caught by the Stalker here. Stalker is about to pop out this Ling, trying to see if it can see anything. And it does escape.
Yeah.
Sneaky Ling.
Go back home, little buddy. You're safe now.
We are seeing 6 more Lings being built to try and defend against this early Stalker. And there is, I think that's a Zealot, or is that... Nope, that is a forward probe. Out on the map just to do a bit of scouting, but there are 2 more Zealots to join in with this Stalker to try and do a bit of harassment onto Bly, who is throwing down a very early infestation pit, but sees these units coming and is throwing down 2 spine crawlers just in case.
Yep, it's a little bit of early aggression. You know, this kind of reminds me of the old 2-gate openings that we would see on maps with short resistance back in the day.
Absolutely, it is quite similar. I mean, what now we are in beta, we see a lot of builds that we haven't seen before because it's completely new units. Everyone's trying to work out what works. And speaking of new units, Bly is throwing out some swarm hosts.
Ooh. I gotta say, I'm rather unfamiliar with the swarm host, so I'm gonna have to see how they're actually utilized in this matchup. And we do see the robotics bay now going down, and Adele saying it's very laggy. I'm not feeling it on my end, are you?
I'm not feeling it on my end either, but their eyes are much more tuned to it than ours. It's much more of a bigger deal for them. And Mothership Core is still killing off Lings, basically being as annoying as possible. But the Swarm Hosts are now out, so Bly will probably be using them for defensive purposes, or he may send them forward for some sort of harassment. And, like you said, Robotics Bay will be finishing up very soon, so we will see Adele coming out with some Colossus.
He's actually getting his second facility as well. So definitely going to be investing in that. That's going to be interesting. Meanwhile, there's an upgrade going down, which is Enduring Locusts.
Yes, they last a bit longer. So instead of lasting for 10 seconds and then exploding, they last for a couple more seconds and then explode.
All this stuff makes me look like an idiot.
That is fine. It is very fine. You have
I don't recognize the icon. I'm like, oh shit, what is a tooltip?
Oh dear. But there we go. Second robotics facility finishes up. Will we see? There we go. Double Colossus. This is going to be so dangerous. And we are seeing Swarm Host burrowing outside Adele's base. So Bly is going to use that to try to do some harassment. But good force fields going down for Adelscott. Those locusts are going to do nothing. And they do get killed off very easily, using the Mothership Core to basically kill them off quickly. And now the first Colossus is out. We will likely see some an observer out at some point for Adelscott to try and deal with these. There it is.
Right?
Sorry?
You can use Envision as well. Allow the Mothership Core to detect.
You can use Envision, but right now the Observer is definitely cheaper. Wants to save this energy on the Mothership Core for the mass recall in order to retreat if he gets in a tough position. And there we go, there's the Observer. So these Swarm Hosts will have to get out of there unless they want to be fried by Colossus. And there they go, fleeing for their lives.
I gotta say, if Envision is 50 energy and you're at max 200 energy, I would just put it down, honestly. Because I can understand wanting to save the energy, and I realize the Mothership Core is a super crucial unit now. On the other end, if you've got max energy anyway, you might as well utilize it.
That is true. It is a very much a give or take. You have to weigh up your options.
Yeah.
And we are seeing a couple Lings chilling just below Adelscott's possible third base. Looks like they are getting ready to possibly harass there later, whereas the Observer does scout the third base of Bly, so does see exactly what's going on here. And he could Adele could possibly destroy the Collapsible Rock Tower and do some damage to the third, but it will be difficult to get past all of Bly's units here. And in the meantime, Bly is spreading creep to Adele's third to deny him at that expansion.
Huh. Why is he spawning Swarm Host in his own domain? Was there anything that I missed there, or?
No, there's nothing you missed. I think it was just he's going to use these for scouting rather than wasting units.
That's smart.
It is very smart, and they are going to explode just before they catch these units. That is really unfortunate for Bly. He may burrow and send a couple more forward just in case. But Adelscott does look like he was going to push out, but is dancing around a bit in the center. He did see those Lings, but he knows his units at home will be enough to deal with these. And good micro here, try to keep them away from those things. There's enough Colossus here to chase them back. And in the meantime, Adele is pushing forward. The Swarm Hosts are unburrowed. This could be so dangerous right now for Bly. If he loses all these Swarm Hosts, that's where a lot of his money is spent. And there we go, they burrow. Out come some of the Locusts, but a couple of the Swarm Hosts manage to burrow, and everything dies. The Swarm Hosts trying to retreat, but the Colossus doing so much damage right now. Spine Crawlers at the top of the ramp. Colossus don't give a damn, and they are just killing off everything right now. This is looking really good for Adelscott right now.
Yeah, but it's definitely not looking good for him. As soon as he got caught out with those Swarm Hosts, you definitely knew things were going to go wrong. And he got rather unlucky with that. You know, the Swarm Host is just not barely able to spot that incoming army, so now he pays the price for it. And Adele is just steamrolling forward right now. Bly, is he going to be able to stabilize after this is the question right now. It doesn't seem to be the case. He's getting 22 Lings out, but no! GG is called. And we're going to see a 1-1 tie in this best of 3 series, and we're going to get game number 3 coming up next. Your thoughts on that match?
My thoughts were that was pretty much exactly what Adelscott should have done. He had the in-base expansion, and he knew that if the Zerg wanted to keep up with him economy-wise, he would have to take a really difficult third. So Bly was bound to leave taking his third a bit later, which means the push that Adelscott did go out with is much more dangerous because his opponent was not on a free base economy.
Yep, it was an interesting game. I gotta say, the Swarm hosts not looking as good, and I think a key thing as well was as soon as Adel moved out, last game we saw that, as soon as Adel moved out, Bly was in there for the counterattack. Bly again attempted that with the Lings there, but he wasn't able to get anything done on this map.
Absolutely, he just basically got intercepted by some Stalkers, and when he tried to pick them off, Adelscott was still double producing Colossus out of that robotics facility, so no respite for Bly there. Wasn't able to do any kind of counter damage.
Is the wrong map apparently is hosted up real quick. We're gonna see if that's... There we go, that's better. So we have another invite coming up. And let's see what map do we have coming up. Howling Peak. Well, hey guys, the lobby is hosted and we're going to continue out for just a brief bit of music while we gather ourselves for game number 3 of this best of 3 series. It's tiebreaker time. Do or die.